Even the chickens are confused. Hey, there y'all. I'm standing here aggravated, I guess. Just silly me. So, moving out here to the country, a little more conscious of trash and where it goes, and by default I've become a recycler. Not even meaning to be, just trash management. Because when you live out here, you burn everything you can. And of course the aluminum you can recycle. Then you got stuff for the compost pile, stuff for the chickens, and then stuff that you can't recycle necessarily, you just can't burn. So I was amazed how little stuff that can't be reused, whether it be recycled or whatever. Anyway, so for my convenience, by default, I guess the environment is safe. I don't know. Anyway, what I'm aggravated about, the chickens are looking at it with me. Hey, Roxanne. I guess they're confused too. Maybe they're just scared that I started a fire again. This is a safe zone, according to Nacogdoches Fire Department, because I've already burned up everything around it. But no, I walked out of the house, cleaned the kitchen. Jordan was doing the dishes, getting this bag for mulch and putting it over here and yada yada. Well, I grabbed a full bag of aluminum cans and was headed out to the aluminum can spot out in the garage. Well, I'm walking out here to check on the fire and had a bag in my hand, tossed it into the fire. It was cans, so now I gotta dig them out, I guess. I'm a mess. Hey, Susan, look at that. Just sitting there hot. Now I gotta wait till it all burns out before I can pick them up and put them where they belong. Anyway, that's how my evening's going. It's not bad though, not bad at all. Had a good day. Hey, yes, I know y'all can relate to this. I was thinking today, my cousin stopped by. She lives just up the road a piece, and of course we've been limping along with Dad's zero-turn lawnmower to keep this place down. My old Craftsman finally gave up a couple of weeks ago, if y'all remember. But she's got a push mower she's bringing up. I can maintain this easy with a push mower if I stay on top of it. So thankful for that. But she stopped by and it reminded me of times past in the country, and you do it a little bit, but not so much in suburban neighborhoods. I've not really heard any neighbors stopping and saying, "Hey, you need anything from town?" Well, it happens a lot in the country, so they stop by and visit, and if they're going to town, quote unquote, they're going to ask you, "Do you need anything?" It's just what we do. Well, we didn't, and we were good, so she headed off, and we kept doing our evening chores. And then after she left, it got me thinking. When we was up here for as kids, me and Kimberly, if we was sitting in the house, of course we was always bored. We was kids. There wasn't no internet, no TV, and God forbid we had to play outside with all this country. We'd be sitting there and Mama would look at us and say, "Babies, you want to go to town?" We was all over it. We knew what that meant. It meant that we was probably going to get a Polly Pop. What's a Polly Pop? Well, Mama called. Remember those little plastic jugs of Kool-Aid, I guess it was? Just kind of a fruit-flavored junk drink, really. She'd buy them by the flat. But, man, it wasn't that big, but we thought that was the best stuff ever. And if we was going to town, that meant that Mama was probably refilling the Polly Pop for the summer week that we was down here. And we might even get some candy if she gave us a couple of nickels. And that was still in the 80s, or early 80s. So, yeah, I think you can still buy some candy for a nickel if you look hard enough. But, boy, going to town. Well, anyway, so finish the story tonight. Hey, Susan, Wanda, how are y'all? Thanks for checking in. So, Donna went to town, and really blessed that we're going to get a lawnmower tomorrow, the next day. And we'll probably give it one more run with Dad's zero-turn and then start maintaining with that other one. But she went to town. That was it. Have a good evening. Then she showed back up and dropped off a couple of burgers. I'm like, well, that's nice, thank you. But these aren't just any burgers. I have no idea where they came from. But I don't need to know, because I've got a couple of fast food chains that I like. But when you get a bag, one of those white plastic thank you, it says thank you on it, get one of those. And then inside is two brown bags, unmarked, with what you know to be a true homemade burger from a little deli somewhere in Nacogdoches, and some fries. You don't need to know where it come from. The bag tells you everything. So we got some good eating ahead of us here in a little bit. I know y'all got some memories of going to town with grandparents or parents. going to town. Y'all need anything from town? What reckon what they'd say? Yeah, I'd like to have a new car. That might be going too far. Oh, garden's looking good. Chickens are happy. They don't have PTSD from the fire. Looks like they're pecking around it. I guess they're thinking I'm making them some more barbecue worms or something. Who knows? Got a few pepper sprouts coming up that Jordan planted. I remember that. It's probably, he's helped garden before he was young, but how cool is that first time you plant those seeds and you wait about 10, 12 days and they start popping through the soil just a little bit? It's a good feeling, especially the first time you see it happen. You know, when you put the seed in the ground and nature did the work, and God blessed it, and here comes the sprout. Like that old Johnny Cash song, going to Jackson, hotter than a pepper sprout. Never ate a pepper sprout. Anyway, got some good banana peppers on the way and some jalapenos. I first got here last of April, 1st of May, and came across an old cane pole laying in the back, and I knew where it was going to go eventually. This front here, that old iron pot's always been there, and it used to have, of course, you'd have to go way back to see what it looked like. It was all overgrown and just a mess. And but back in its day, it had, I believe, geraniums in it, and there was a wooden sign that hung right here that said Miss Ruby. It's because my was Ruby Gertrude Alders. So as late in her life, it was just her, so it had Miss Ruby on there. Well, I found this cane pole on the garage where we kept the other ones. It's still got the same line on it that I know for a fact by the look of it and the size of it. Guarantee Meemaw's pulled some perch out of the San Rayburn with this one. I remember going, now there's a couple of things wrong with this. The line's original, but that little cork right there, I just pulled that out of my tackle bag. If I put that on her line when we was fishing that old John boat, she'd probably get upset. She'd say, that ain't big enough to spit at, baby. Put me a real cork on there. You remember those round corks? That's what she had to have. And the weights are wrong. She used to have, I don't know how much y'all know about fishing, but old school, she would have, I just tied these on there. She'd have one of those longer weights, you know, with the 2 tabs on it. I forget what they're called. And the biggest thing that's missing on this is a number 3/0 Gold Aberdeen Eagle Claw hook. If it wasn't that, she wasn't fishing with it. And you're probably, if you fish, you're probably, that's a pretty big old hook for a crappie. Boy, you fishing in the wrong hole. Because she was pulling out some whoppers. Now I remember if it was a little bit too much line on it, we would we'd curl it around the end of that pole. Let me find it here. You can see how it's got that spiral in it where I untangle it. And she wouldn't worry about that. The first one she'd catch would pull that slack right out of it. Yep. I remember when we would go fishing, we'd launch from a Couch's place is what we call it. I believe his first name was Doyle. He'd bought some land on the, my uncle that owns this place had a subdivision he was going to start down there, and it kind of developed and then didn't, but this gentleman had a nice place on it. We had access to the road. And we had a couple of John boats just pulled up on the bank down there on San Rayburn. And every time we'd go down there, we'd have to turn the boat over, and there's always a big cottonmouth underneath it, every time. Chase the cottonmouth off or kill it, and then get in the John boat and paddle out there about 100 yards and start fishing in them old button willows. And Meemaw would get down there, and I'd be in the back of the boat paddling her in the front, she'd be on the other side. And if she was older, she'd have that big old long cane pole out there. And when she'd get a fish or a bite or she'd lose her minnow, here it'd come. Slap you in the face. Baby, put Meemaw another minnow on. Take the fish off. My poor dad never did get to fish, and we'd go as a family. There was 3 of us doing that to him. That was good times. And then I got smart. I didn't need minnows no more when I was in my adolescent years. I found out about those jigs, and I still fish with them to this day. But I got on that boat, and I put all the minnows up by Meemaw. And she said, baby, you need a minnow? I'm like, no, ma'am. Well, what are you going to fish with? And I showed her that little jig. She said, baby, you ain't going to catch nothing with that. And I didn't for a little bit, but I pulled a few of them out. But she never did convert over. I don't know how they're going to bite that little old plastic thing. You got to have a minnow. It wasn't M-I-N-N-O-W. It was minnow. M-I-N-N-E-R. We'd buy them by the quarter pound just down the road. Man had a little minnow shop, bait shop. Good times. Yep, so it's that time of the year. Well, kind of wrapping up on crappie season. Of course, you know where to find them. You can catch them all season. But thought I'd hang that old cane pole right there. I guarantee I'm gonna find one of them old corks on the place. When I do, I'll replace it and get the right weight on it. Probably better not put a hook on it, not out here in the yard. I'll end up with a piercing in my ear or something. I don't go that route, I guess. Ain't no sense in creating holes in my body. Anyway, to each his own. Hope y'all had a good week. We got one more day in it. Tomorrow's Friday. That's a good thing. So, oh, one last thing. Caught myself out here, and I'm not really a big soda drinker at all. But I guess this is proof I'm in East Texas. I got a big old mug of Big Red. I don't even know how that happened, but it did. Go figure. So, it'll be turning around one more time. So we got Big Red, Big Al, and a garden, and a burn pile with cans in it. I guess that's East Texas enough. Thanks, Helen. Hope I said hello to everybody. Sometimes it's hard to keep up when I go to rambling. But Linda's on. Hey, Linda, how are you? Hey, Pamela. Yep. One of my favorite songs from old Merle Haggard is The Way I Am. And if you remember, the verse goes, or some of it goes, I can almost see that bobber dancing. Good stuff. Well, y'all have a good rest of the week. Hope your weekend is amazing as well. And I guess we'll check in tomorrow evening. Still got one more day in the typical work week to make a difference and make somebody smile. I had to run to Walmart this evening and get a few things, but as I hate that place, but it's got its purpose. There's some good things there. One of which is some medicine for my son, which can't get anywhere else, so kudos to them for that. But I was in there and had a couple of sourpuss checkers, but I think they might have smiled a little bit on the way out. It's worth it. Make a difference. Y'all be the light, and we'll try to check in tomorrow. See you later.